Santa Claus? Do you fuck my mom, Santa?
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
You have a TV? No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Shoutout special Christmas. Christmas.
I told you we should have not have seen it.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only...
And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
Now, I have to kill all of you.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
We're excited to be
Happy
here,
New
boys.
Year.
No, not that.
That's how you usually sound, unexcited. We ready?
We're recording
Will
now.
excite me.
Excite you? If I show you
Excite
my
me.
butthole, will that excite you?
That's another reason we could have a female co-host.
To excite you?
We don't
Yes.
need a woman here to be uncomfortable by the advances you're clearly going to make towards
Yeah.
her.
No woman.
advances.
We have
No.
more respect for women than that.
No advances.
Yeah, I remember grinding my feet on this couch.
Yeah.
No
It's like,
advances.
yeah, I remember wearing my sweatpants and swinging myself around. Got a little more sense of that. Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of the Frog Brothers Podcast.
The Frog Brothers Podcast.
My name is Justin. With me is my esteemed colleague and brother, all-around gentleman, scholar, smart person, Alec, and then we got this fucking turd that doesn't flush, Nick.
How come Alec never does the intro?
I used to do the intro.
Yeah, we used to trade off sometimes.
I don't remember.
He's like trying to start a divide between us, like we'll care.
It's been
He's
at least
clearly trying to start a war. He's like,
It's been at least 30
Nick's like one of those floating turds.
Like
You
I'm-
gotta
no.
you gotta set some toilet paper on it to get it to flush right. Otherwise, it keeps
No, I'm
resurrecting
like,
itself.
No,
well, you got to give it a courtesy flush right now, I think.
I'm the hostage, and I'm trying to turn you two guys against each other.
You're not a hostage
How
of
come-
anybody.
how
No one
come-
will fucking
You're more
kidnap
like-
you.
How come Justin makes all the decisions?
I think
Alec?
we're the hostages. I feel like you're the parasite. You're like John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and we're both Steve Martin. And we're like, we just keep running into you.
I would say more like human centipede, but it's weird how much
But
one
John-
man's lips can be on both of our assholes at the same time.
John Candy's the better person in that movie, though.
Is that why he's homeless?
His wife died.
That's not an excuse.
He can't go home.
That's actually really a story
He
about
lives in
how the
hotels.
American.
He's a business traveling salesman there.
Are you trying to call yourself John Candy?
He sells shower hooks.
Because you're homeless and live in a hotel?
I can take anything. I've been with Nick Bryan.
All right, so crazy stuff coming at you. We got off topic really fucking fast, so
Smash
Hey.
that like button.
just like we smashed Nick's mom.
You may have noticed on some of our pages, such as YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you consume our podcast, that the logo has been updated.
What about Instagram?
Do they consume our podcast on Instagram?
They don't consume it on
They
Facebook.
interact.
Fucking chatty
He
Cathy
said-
dog.
he- He
Over
said
here.
Facebook.
That's where I updated it. Yes, that's correct. I did not update it on Instagram yet.
Oh my
no.
God.
So
There
the
you go.
one, the only, Mr. Badoochi at Badoochi Studios on Instagram gifted us a beautiful piece of art based on my concept for the Moogly Ghostbusters logo and Lost Boys mashup. He took it a step further, went above and beyond, and gifted it to us, so we want to give a huge shout out to him. He's a very talented artist. If you are a listener of Yes Have Some podcast, you may note that he did an insanely detailed poster for them that they have set up. I've actually got a print of that hanging up in my bedroom. So when he gifted us a piece of artwork, my mind was blown. I was totally fucking stoked on it, and we are very happy to have that.
Yes, I
That's
also
real
have that.
nice.
Yes, have some print as well as the T-shirt design of it because I just liked it so much. I guarantee we will actually be paying him for some sort of future artwork as well because we're very pleased with that. So,
Yep, and we'll likely have some. We're looking into some different options for print-on-demand shirts and merchandise and apparel and stuff like that. So that will be one of the shirt designs we have up at launch. So we're probably gonna have, I think, 3 different designs right now that we'll start with and go from there.
yeah.
Are we going to put his links in the description?
On the YouTube, we can.
Yes.
We can put it in descriptions, yes.
At Badoochi.
Smash his like buttons.
Yeah, follow his work. He's actually done some really great stuff lately on Instagram, just showing how he's doing his process of obviously illustrating the line work and then obviously coloring in the work and stuff.
And you can find that on, he has a YouTube page where he goes into detail about how he does the stuff too sometimes. So that's also, go subscribe to that if you do artwork or you're interested in artwork or you like his artwork. So
yeah, that's always awesome to see the different process for, I mean, I do some of our artwork, right? But obviously, I kind of do it as a hobby because I used to be in graphic design, so I love seeing how fast and efficient people can work compared to myself.
Right. It's not that yours is bad. It's just that his is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, but I just love seeing how efficient people are with some of these tools. Like when I was messing with our logo, I was just learning how to use the vector-based art program.
Yeah.
You made some nice logos for Midland Empire Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but just basic stuff there. So, I mean,
yeah.
There's a wide variety of levels out there.
Better than what we had.
So that's a big shout out to Badoochi Studios. So thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate it. He's in the land down under, I do believe.
And for those of you who were listening in October to our first bonus episode, the October special, we had on John and Jeremy Yerkeba. They were doing talking about some of their artwork and a multimedia project they were doing on Instagram at the time. Some of John's artwork, he has recently talked about how he's going to be putting it into sort of a book that he's going to be releasing. So hit him up and let him know that you're interested in that, because there's going to be a very limited amount from what I understand. So I know that I'm going to be picking one up. So
yes, that's super exciting to see that he's got that project going on. Obviously, a project that size for an independent artist to be working on takes some time, right? So when we talked in, it was gonna, he was hoping to have it sooner, but patience, my friends.
Yeah.
Patience. The patience will pay off for this because it's gonna be amazing.
It's worth it. Worth the wait.
Absolutely,
baby. I see you shiver with
Patient.
Alec is just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
How do you do, I? See, you've met my faithful handyman.
Yeah.
Don't sing too much more because I don't want Nick to get aroused. He's wearing his sweatpants again, so.
Oh, gross.
So, it's Mando Monday. And we'll get to the season 2 finale of Mandalorian in a minute, but we're talking news right now. So,
spoiler alert.
Mando Monday dropped all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The Darksaber, the Black Series collectible Darksaber was announced, not the worst toy of the year honorable mention that was already out. So this one actually looks pretty excellent.
And if you use the code FROGBROS on adamandeve.com, you can get a 20% discount off of the Darksaber Fleshlight. So I highly recommend doing that.
Isn't the Darksaber really thin? Like a sword?
It actually does look like a sword blade, but the handle would be the
It's all out of
fleshlight part.
proportion.
Oh, okay.
Nick doesn't understand these things.
Yeah.
So it's just a hilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You mean you click it on and it starts vibrating and glows. And then you just are like, all right, Boca Raton.
Boca Raton, Florida? Who wants to go on vacations, guys?
All right. No, so they had the Darksaber, obviously a repaint of Boba Fett's helmet, which I saw a bunch of fucking haters being like, it's not accurate, there's some stuff in the molding that's not perfect. You're like, it's a fucking collectible. For the price point it's going to be at, it's pretty fucking excellent.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty awesome. And I'm not sitting there trying to find all the differences. Because it's like, if you're that worried about it, just make one, clearly.
Well, go buy a metal one for $1,000 and make it perfect exactly what you want.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
for a $150 toy from Hasbro, it's pretty fucking decent.
Yeah.
They also announced the re-release of the Slave 1.
Yeah.
And that's not the vintage Slave 1 from the 90s. That's
Well, it's the vintage collection.
It's the
That's what they
vintage-
have. It
yeah.
means it fits the 3 1/4 or whatever.
But it's
figures.
much bigger than the 90s model that was released like with the Power of the Force line and
Yeah.
stuff, which is just re-releases.
And
of
I
the
really
other
want
ones.
it, but, don't have the funds to commit to anything right now like that, so.
That's a pretty big expense to be thrown out at that right now. So Now, that being said, I did get fucking sniped on eBay on a Shadows of the Empire Slave one, but that's my bad.
I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? I should have sniped it because then at least I would have potentially have gotten it too. Because I didn't bid on it specifically. I went and knocked on your door because I was like, is this the Slave one you're bidding on right now by chance? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, God damn it. Of course it is. And then, of course it got sniped.
That being said, if you have a Slave 1 inbox from Shadows of the Empire line, hit me up. Let me know what your offer is. What would it take to offload that?
Maybe one of our listeners sniped it.
I'll give you a free year subscription to my OnlyFans if you give one to me. Ooh. So that's the offer on the table right now.
That retails at $60.
All right. Did you subscribe for a full year?
Yeah, it's $5 a month.
There you go.
You need to pay up, man. Put that money in my hand. So beyond that, the week hasn't had a lot of news, obviously, besides Mando Monday. Obviously, Disney just left everyone hanging over the weekend with, what's the Book of Boba Fett? Well, it's a new series, and guess who an executive producer is? Ooh, Robert motherfucking Rodriguez! Yeah.
That's how that makes me feel.
So that was excellent news to hear that he's going to be part of that project. He did an amazing job directing that episode of The Mandalorian, and I think he was the fill-in director at the time, and then obviously now...
Yeah, last minute.
Yeah.
And fucking is going to be an executive producer on the series because he knows how to tell the story, and he knows how to use this technology. So next December is going to be pretty fucking wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anything else in news before we cut over to...
Water cooler cult. Water cooler cult.
Water cooler cult, cult, cult. Water cooler cult, cult. Water cooler cult, cult. Water cooler cult, cult, cult. Join the cooler cult. Water cooler cult. Drink it out. Join the cooler.
Chapter 16, The Rescue.
I don't have any notes on this, but it's fine.
We've actually watched this twice.
Could you blame us?
I've only watched it once.
I had the day off Friday from work, had some vacation time to burn, and Alec probably went to bed at about 5 that morning, I think.
You know how tempted I was to watch it without you two, but I didn't.
Yeah, Alec went to bed about 5, but I came up after getting up Friday and taking care of some business and I went grocery shopping and stuff and everything else. And then I came home, unloaded, and then I woke Alec up so we could watch the episode, and goddamn, did that deliver.
Yeah. What are you doing over there?
Try not to burp everywhere and sound like I'm fucking throwing up.
I was about to say, it keeps making me think you're going to throw up. That's what I keep thinking you're trying not to do.
We just ate a lot of Chipotle.
And then I fucking found some goddamn meat in mine.
Oh, yeah.
Stop fucking eating it and throw it in the trash and get.
We're no longer allowing
triggered.
Chipotle to sponsor.
Nope.
Not that Chipotle, anyway.
They also put way too much. I used to work at Chipotle, and I made the rice and did some of the cooking and shit, like a couple years ago when I was in school. And you know what? They put way too much fucking lime juice. That's all I could fucking taste. My mouth was burning from citric acid. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So for those of you that aren't aware, Alec and I don't consume animals.
I do.
Nick over here doesn't care about anything, so why wouldn't you eat a person? But that's for another conversation. You can't answer that right now. Anyway, Alec found a big piece of carnitas in his burrito, and that pretty much ruined his appetite.
His tofu burrito.
Yeah.
Burrito bowl. Either way, it was a huge fucking piece. So, for all you pork lovers out there, here's a fun fact. So, cannibals say that pork meat tastes the closest to eating human meat out there.
That's why you don't give your dog pork meat, because they'll start to develop a taste for it, and they'll eat you.
Sweet.
It's true.
State your sources, you son of a bitch, because you're always over here lying and
That's
making up
just not
shit.
true, because actually lots of dog food has pork in it, so...
Nick's over here fucking lying. What are you, the president? Fucking just make up and say whatever you want because you thought it? Like, oh, I thought it. It must be true.
It was on Breitbart.
I'm going to fucking throw you down a flight of stairs, and I don't have stairs here. So that means I'm going to go build a flight of stairs, take you up the flight of stairs, and knock your ass down said stairs. So you shut your mouth. Do not speak unless spoken to.
You're no longer a metaphorical punching bag.
Now you're going to be
You're
a
getting
real
the real.
punching bag.
We're gonna skin you and sew you together in the shape of a punching bag and stuff your ass with beads or whatever they put in those bags.
Once you started sewing him, I thought we were going to turn him into a walrus. And that I could get behind.
Let's do it. Get Kevin Smith on the phone. He knows how to do this.
Yeah. Nick's going to look like Justin
Robert
Long
Kurtzman
here
do the
pretty
effects
soon.
for that movie, I think.
Effects? It's going to be real deal when we do it to Nick.
Oh, yeah, I know. But he just knows the logistics.
That's
Provide
true.
us with
Kevin
details.
Smith, if you're listening, call us.
Help turn Nick into a fucking walrus.
Yeah.
So...
All right, let's
or
get
like
back
a
on
narwhal
track.
will cut his dick off and
We're
sew
trying
it
to
to his
talk about
forehead.
the best episode possibly ever of this series. Are you fucking retarded? And not no, I take that back. Retarded people have an excuse. It's rude to call people retarded. Are you a fucking piece of dog shit?
Last week was better.
Last week was better.
But you said last week that it wasn't even as good as something else.
No, I didn't.
How was it? No.
I said last week was probably my favorite episode of the show so far. That was, yeah.
We're gonna fucking mute you. I need a mute switch over here on my foot just so I can turn him off when I want now.
You heard it here first. Okay, I can't even talk because I'm just don't even know what to say. But you heard it first here, folks. Nick is now an intern, no longer a producer, because his opinions are garbage.
Nope.
Are garbage.
Hot flaming garbage. He's like the little fucking bottle of water when you spill out of a dumpster and it's all trash water leaking out of the bags. He's like that in a fruit smoothie of rotted fruit and diarrhea. You sick fuck. How was... No, I'm not... Well, I'll just talk to Alec.
Fucking dick nosing on the mic and everything.
Oh, goddamn. Looks like the fucking Penguin in Batman Returns.
So how many times did you come during this episode's climax?
Spiritually, I felt like... well, we've all seen pornography. Let's not lie, right? Let's not pretend that we haven't. Let's not pretend that we haven't made it with Nick's mom and probably some other people's moms.
It's the best kind, the MILF porn. Nick shakes his head, but it's true. You know it. Search your feelings.
But yes,
they always get those discount boob jobs. Those
you always, you just know about like women that are multi-orgasmatic. You know, that's how I felt watching this episode. I just felt like there's like this gleeful hopefulness of just repetitively feeling good over and over and over again. And you're like, oh, so that's what that's like. Okay, that makes so much sense.
Oh God, yeah.
What about you? Did you count?
I don't know. All I know is that I couldn't take my pants off because it's like they were glued to me last night on Friday, whenever we watched this.
Well, to be fair, we did watch it again last night, so.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it, and I think of two things. It's obviously the ending to me, after the post-credit scene. I mean, my brain immediately jumps to that because as a kid, Boba Fett always captured my imagination. This is like... Hello, do you remember Return of the Jedi? Here it is, and you're just shaking the big Return of the Jedi dick around, just flopping it around, just flopping all over the place.
Bib Fortuna is still alive.
Exactly.
Until Boba shot him.
That was a cool scene.
That was awesome. I love that post-credit scene, right? You see Boba Fett go back in there and...
I bought a Bib Fortuna action figure earlier this year from the Power of the Force line because I have a Jabba's Palace playset with Jabba and Boba Fett and Bib Fortuna, and I got Lando in the Skiff Guard outfit and shit, you know, so...
And I love how fat he got, too, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, so in the prequel trilogy, right, you see Jabba, like, kind of skinny and young, and then you see him, obviously, as just morbidly obese after, like, he's just in charge of shit, right? He's living a good life, right?
Yeah.
And basically you see Bib Fortuna doing that, but I love how they fucking put all the fat in his neck and his head tentacles, like, right there, all just, like, gross, and it was just, like, perfect. Just carried that thing on, like, yeah, so...
yeah, the music there was perfect. The acting with Boba Fett going up there, the way he fucking knocked his dead fucking corpse onto the ground and then took over the throne, and it was just like, all right, that's it. It looked like the goddamn cover of a comic book.
Yeah.
Boba Fett sitting in that chair and Fennec sitting next to him with the fucking blaster and shit.
Boba Fett and Fennec, right? And so Fennec's going to be a huge part of his series. And the beautiful thing is that like now he's out of Mando's debt, right? And he rescued the child as agreed to, and they are all good to go.
Right. And people were worried that, oh man, Boba Fett's too much of a good guy. Maybe he's not, man. You know what the looks like.
That's something I thought of that kind of made him more badass than he's been kind of nice and cooperative otherwise so far.
Well, we don't know what he was doing either, though, right? So we don't know what happened, right? For all we know, the series could pick up and show us when he picked up Fennec and all that shit, right? When he rescued her, right? So there could be some more backstory that fills in the pieces as well. Yeah. So I think we'll see a little jumping around in the timeline there. And Alec made an amazing point the other day when we were discussing this, simply about it was perfectly convenient that Boba Fett and the Slave One were out of sight, out of mind when Luke arrived.
Yeah, I thought that too. It's like, what would Luke say if he saw Boba Fett?
Because he's the one that basically Alec and I discussed, you know, Luke's basically the one who threw him in the Sarlacc pit, right? So in good conscience, you're here to save the child, and now you have to turn that child over to this individual, right? So your debt to Mando or Din would be more important than this at the moment, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't go after him later. So I thought that with the timeline we're seeing right now, that's going to make things very interesting, right? I think that could add a lot of tension later on, because Luke, I think, will continue to appear just in guest appearances across other episodes and other series set in this timeline.
Yeah, they're going to show him again just to show Grogu again.
Yeah.
Well, I may not have to, but
no, they don't. They don't have to. There's some options there, though. But I just love how this episode went as well. Like, you know, they agree upon not killing Moff Gideon, right? You know, she wants him to surrender. Okay, so we get that, right? You know, they kind of got to talk her into like, hey, here's what's going to happen with this. And my voice cracked, in case you're wondering.
That's why I smiled.
Because it happens every time. Eventually I talk enough and it's like,
gee, Scoop, let's get back to the mystery van.
Pretty much. So that was awesome when they came in and picked them up and went on that journey, because I just had so much fun seeing it play out.
Well, that captures your imagination too so much of the possibilities of Luke and Grogu going off in an X-Wing together. Holy fuck, you know what I mean?
Yep. And there's other implications in there as well, right? And we briefly talked about R2-D2 coming in, right? And so R2-D2 seemed very happy to see Grogu. Now, there's a high chance that R2-D2 had been around the Jedi Temple when Grogu was a student there. Did they know each other? Maybe, maybe not. Will we learn more about that? Possibly. Or the other thing is that seeing another, I don't even know what they call Yoda species, but, you know, it's just seeing another...
He remembers Yoda for sure.
Wasn't R2's memory not wiped, right? C-3PO's was wiped.
Yeah, C-3PO's was wiped. And that wasn't wiped until the sequel trilogy, so that doesn't even...
That's not even happened yet.
Yeah, that happened in...
No, C-3PO's memory was wiped at the end of episode 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
But not R2, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct. Well, I thought you meant the
So he might still...
C-3PO is getting all fucked up. He doesn't know
So he could have met Grogu before, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, or there's the thing, like, he recognized him, seemed really happy. And then, obviously, right, we could have some interesting stuff here. So when you got a creature that has a 900-year lifespan... Are they going to make Grogu somehow escape all this? Or is Grogu going to be a victim to Kylo Ren eventually, and we hear about it, and we get some backstory on that? And that's one of the reasons it really fucks Luke up, is because...
That's what I've seen on the internet, is that would give a little more reason to Luke's grisliness.
Yes. Because especially, but it's like... Especially with Grogu, though, because if you're looking at somebody like, okay, 900-year lifespan, you know, into your... early teens and 20s, like Grogu would still be a very young formative child for his species, and Luke feels really responsible for ruining something with so much potential there. So I think there's a lot to say that could actually make the sequel trilogy better by the storytelling they're doing now. Backpedaling...
Retroactively making
Well, here, let's be honest.
Better.
You don't even need to grow... I think the whole Luke thing was explained pretty well already.
Yeah.
The fact that they did it
I don't have
3 different ways...
The way Luke was... characterized.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like where he shows up in front of Kylo Ren and they show it from 3 different kind of perspectives throughout that movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
At the Jedi Temple or whatever, when Luke's hovering above Kylo Ren and then they end up clashing or whatever. And it's kind of like, that's clearly why Luke went to exile, because he like was like, all right, I fucked up. I fucked this all up. I gotta just fuck off with this shit.
Yep. Well, and you're also seeing right now that they're dealing with, they wanted Grogu's blood for cloning, right? So could that be another thing that maybe they get him again later on for cloning or whatever else, and he still loses somehow there that's not part of that massacre or something else? But there's a lot of things going on that are going to, I think, try to redeem some of what we see in the sequel trilogy. Not necessarily intentionally, but just because you do have this gap to fill, and we're already in a post-original trilogy space, right? So we've got a lot of things to listen to and learn about. So
and they've kind of already explained how they've made Snoke, too, out of Grogu's blood.
You know what? Has anybody thought of the possibility that Grogu pops up in, like, Bad Batch? Because that's Order 66 time period.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
That's just a possibility because that's new.
Show him escaping or...
I mean, they could do anything. They could have just one episode where it's like somebody rescuing him from the Jedi Temple and him getting out of there.
Yeah. So, but I did like how Moff Gideon, like, tricked, Din into getting the Darksaber from him.
I didn't like Din turning his back to him, though. Seemed like he trusted him an awful lot. Easily.
Well,
he should have been kind of...
To me, that's part of the character change we've seen in Din over the series. Like, right, he starts off as this hardened guy, and like he's just become... He's still a badass, but he's much softer and thoughtful in the world.
He put his guard down, I think, because...
He loves the child so much, right? And it was his focus on that, right? And in any other situation, I don't think he would have done that. But I think that just shows, like, his emotional connection. Because even Moff makes a reference to it. He's like, oh, I see you've done that. And so I think that line specifically kind of makes you think that...
I was really trying not to hit it.
Jesus Christ. This is why we can't have nice things.
Nick's fucking ninja kicking the damn microphone stand.
I was out here on how I kicked it.
Fucking sit up like a grown-up.
He looks like a child that's like his feet are too short to hit the ground.
Well, he's like 5'7".
My bad knee's achy. So.
Well, without a bad knee, you wouldn't have a good one. Mm-hmm. Edgar will know that reference. So, back to the episode. So, what was the most surprising thing to you? Because obviously, Luke's very surprising, right? But what else in the episode was really shocking to you? Like, what stood out?
R2-D2, actually, because for some reason I wasn't even thinking about the fact that he would be with Luke. So when he popped out, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, because they didn't show him on any of the cameras or anything.
But it made sense that he would have R2 with him as an astromech droid. But
yeah,
I just wasn't thinking about it, and then here's R2.
Yeah,
so
that was
like
another delightful surprise, right? And he's not going to go be in harm's way.
Well, that's the thing. Let's go through this in a little bit of phases here. First, you see an X-Wing.
That,
And then you're like, wait.
That's got to be Luke.
Wait. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, this is Luke. But then you're like, wait, this can't be Luke. So your mind immediately goes to, all right, does Ahsoka have an X-Wing? Could she have an X-Wing? I don't think so. Does anybody else have an X-Wing that I'm aware of? Or is it not a Jedi?
Well, once you remember that Grogu was talking to some Jedi in the
well, that's why you start to think of a Jedi.
Ago.
That's when you start to think of a Jedi. So you're like, all right, this could be Ahsoka, Ezra, Luke, Leia.
Well, it could have even been any of those.
That's what I'm saying. It could have been a Rangers.
It could have been, but
whatever.
But Luke is more connected to X-Wings than anyone else. He even has an X-Wing on that planet in the sequels.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm telling you everybody's thought process while we go through
this. As you try to digest it and see what the hell's happening, you're like, is this happening?
It could have been misdirection. They could have put someone else in there, yeah.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people would have been okay with that, too.
Well,
and then the green lightsaber.
You're not thinking they're just going to put Luke in this scene. You're not. Until you're closer down there, and everybody might have a different point where they're like, this is Luke. But you're sitting there hoping. You're like, I hope that's Luke. I don't know how. I don't know what we're going to see if it is Luke. What's going to happen? And then it lands. You see someone in a black cloak walking down the hallway or whatever after he gets out. And you're like, all right. I still don't know. I feel like that could be Luke. That could be Ahsoka. That still could be Ezra. I don't know. But you're starting to lean towards Luke, and you're hoping. And then you see the green lightsaber, and you're like, immediately, what I did was like, I was like, it's Luke! And then wait. Don't get your hopes up.
Like, how long until they show his face?
Is this Luke? Is this really Luke? Or is it just green lightsaber and everything else? Oh, like, this has to be Luke, right? He's like questioning everything in reality, like my entire existence, having an existential crisis. And then you see the fucking gloved hand, you see the belt buckle, you see his other hand that's ungloved, and you're like, it's fucking him!
Yeah, it was pretty fucking glorious, I'll tell you that. I was just, you're thinking the whole time, okay, what's going on with this? And then that happens, and you're like, okay. And then you see him go through, and he's clearly mastered the Force more than we've ever seen him. Like, this is the most we've ever seen Luke Skywalker do, right?
I've even seen people complaining, this isn't Luke Skywalker's Jedi style.
I thought it was funny on the last...
Because we saw so much in the original trilogy. We saw, 2 lightsaber battles, basically, with him?
Well, he was also fighting Darth Vader, who's known to be a lot slower in his battles. So his actually to Rogue One is quite a big difference. Luke's is less of a difference.
Well,
it's still a little bit different because it's
and he's still
40 years later done by completely different people. What do you expect? It's going to be a little different.
Well, and he was still a novice at the time of Return of the Jedi.
Exactly.
As far as
you have so much more advancement. He's now potentially... We don't know exactly what Luke is doing elsewhere, if he already has set up a temple, if he hasn't. We don't know any of that right now, but...
Yeah.
He might just now be forming the school or something, and
it's
Grogu's like one of the first students.
Well, he's Professor X.
Yeah.
Basically.
I thought it was funny when Luke gets to the last super stormtrooper, he just like crushes him with the Force instead of just slicing through him.
Well,
like
really, they did that one specifically for Element, because you see how strong he's become with the Force, right? Because he crushes that, but then it also smokes up the whole room.
So he like built up a combo, and now he has a special attack, kind of like a video game.
No, it was for strategic purposes of opening a door and having him walk through fucking smoke when you reveal him.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of that.
No, the last... Before he goes through the door, he crushes
Yes,
it.
I know.
And it smokes because of that.
It smokes because it imploded.
Oh, when
it
he opens
melted.
that door. Okay.
Yes.
And so then you just see the lightsaber.
That was very
and
intentional, yes.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's what that was.
I was thinking
designed
that
for.
happened earlier. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. That's when I saw that, I knew they did that, because that's just a badass reveal. And I like how the monitor's flickering in and out as they see who it is, right? They did a really good job teasing that up to like, oh, fuck.
And then...
And at one point, I thought when he was still wearing the hood and he was sliced, I thought I saw a beard. And I'm like, does Luke already have a beard at this point?
He takes...
But he didn't, yeah.
The whole helmet taken off scene is like a whole mirror. Again, that's another mirror from Return of the Jedi, where Luke takes off Vader's helmet and sees him for the first time.
Sees him with his own eyes, yeah. Because, right, as far as we know, Din's never taken his helmet off in front of Grogu. I mean, we've never seen that on the ship. I would just assume that we hadn't. Like, I assume he eats by himself when no one else is around. Like, I just assume that's his way no matter what.
Right.
So that is a big reveal there.
But I doubt he's ever taken it off just to look at him or...
No, because the way Grogu reacts...
It's emotional for sure.
Yeah, the way he reacts and does that, right? And I think for him, too, that just shows another growth element of like, okay, so I've been sent on this journey to do this. Now he's got the Darksaber, so then you start going like, where are you going to go with his story next, right? Is he going to reunite all of Mandalore potentially?
Right? I don't think Bo-Katan... They're not going to start out the next episode with Bo-Katan being like, all right, now we have to fight to the death for the Darksaber.
Yeah, it didn't seem like she was wanting to do that.
I think it's going to be more like she's going to reluctantly agree to let him have it for a while or something, And just be like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess you're the fucking keeper of the Darksaber. At least it's better than Moff Gideon, or I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, I think she's going to be happy because she's seen his integrity to take care of things, to see him follow through with things, and take
she
care of another
sees
life
even
form.
that, just him taking the helmet off, she sees that he's not as much of a religious fanatic as she thought he was.
Exactly. That's a huge thing. Like, I think that changed
Not
her
anymore.
perspective of him. Yeah, so there's one thing before, like, she changed her opinion of him.
Well, he learned that there are Mandalorians like them that aren't hardcore like him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now I think he thinks that that's not the way.
He's been processing this, right?
That is not the way.
That is not the way.
That is not the way.
Yeah.
But I think that's what season 3 is going to be really about. And right, I was just really expecting a downer of an episode. I didn't think we are going to see resolution with
I think
Grogu.
everybody was. We were all expecting it because they were like, there's no way they're going to resolve Grogu and shit right now. Like, there's no way. I think that's how we all were. We all thought they were going to Empire Strikes Back
us. It did feel a little quick that Grogu just goes off. And none of them knew who he was.
See, Nick,
like
you were always like, you didn't like Grogu. And now that Grogu's gone, you're like, no.
No, I'm fine with that. But it just seemed a little quick and a little, like, he just shows up. He could be anyone far they know.
Well, that's the thing is it's like...
But I guess Grogu talked to him through the Force rock thing. And
it'd be funny if season 3 opens up with Luke returning him and be like, he's a little bastard. I can't handle this motherfucker. Take him back.
It's like fucking...
You just see him throw him over his head like he throws the lightsaber.
Season 3 is basically Problem Child.
That's what I was gonna say. Problem Child. I couldn't think of the name of it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But it also opens up the possibility, right? Everyone's speculation, their minds are running wild. Like, are you going to do a show where you're going to deep fake Mark Hamill the entire time?
Well, see, they haven't deep faked anyone. They're using other technology. If they were using deep fake, it would look much better. Like, you can see all these scenes redone by deep fake, and I'm a huge advocate for this being redone because they all look like shit. And then you see some YouTuber who does special effects, I'm sure professionally, but they are also a YouTuber, and they just upload, oh, here's deepfake of Grand Moff Tarkin and Rogue One. Infinitely better. They even did stuff like put Han Solo in Solo. They put Harrison Ford over it. And I'm not saying that's the way they should have shot that movie or anything, because that is a little disrespectful to the other actor, unless you're just going to have a stunt person play the person, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to have Harrison Ford do the voice and everything, which would have been cool, but
or
also
Harrison
he's
Ford
old, so
impersonator,
it's like,
maybe?
Possibly. Yeah. But, you know, that's what I'm not arguing they should have done that, but I'm saying for Mark Hamill, they should have just deep-faked it. Unless if they de-aged him, which you can't tell if they did or not. I don't know what I mean?
I
think they used the stunt actor, and then they filmed Mark Hamill's face and digitally recreated him, probably the same way they did Princess Leia for Rogue One.
Well, hopefully we'll know more about that specifically. Christmas Day, they're launching the behind the scenes of season 2, so hopefully we'll be able to talk about that next Monday. And
do you think Luke looked better than Tarkin?
Yeah.
Yes, Luke hands down did. Yep.
You did?
Yep. When Luke came on there, I was impressed. I mean, I don't have.
He looked about as good as Leia did in Rogue One, and Leia in Rogue One looks way better than Leia in Rise of Skywalker when they flash back with the Jedi training or whatever.
I think Tarkin benefited from the dark lighting on the Star Destroyer bridge.
Well, here's my hot take on it.
If he was in brighter light, I think he would have looked a lot worse.
Here's my hot take on it. Had I seen that in a movie theater, I may have thought it looked like shit. Right? Because that's what I thought of. Like,
I remember
Tarkin.
in the theater. I thought
Tarkin just looked animated and like lifeless.
He looked like a computer generated completely for sure.
Yeah,
like a video game cutscene character kind of.
Princess Leia and that looked way better than him to me.
Yeah, and that looked, but they still just didn't look. They still, and I don't know if it's the skin transparency thing. That's the same thing with like some practical effects. Like they just don't look right because you don't see like that realism.
The
there.
lighting doesn't work quite as right because it's not there.
Yeah, and I think the only reason they haven't done the deep fake on that is because I think for some of the finer details, like the light reflecting on your eyes in the room, there's no way to do that.
They can't add that?
I mean, they possibly could. I'm not sure. I've never messed with the technology, but I just think the way they're doing
there's a way to do it. I just think these movies, for Star Wars specifically, even ones that rely so heavily on looks like that, they should definitely deep fake, and they need to hire some people who've redone their own shit on YouTube and just be like, literally, come do this for us now.
But I think at the end of the day, no matter how bad the effect looks, people are still happy to see the character.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
well, yeah. So whether or not Mark Hamill shot that or not, obviously he's in the credits because he did the voice work. They used his likeness for that, right? So technically, you're going to get your stuff there. But Mark Hamill's an amazing voice actor, so there's no reason that he couldn't just. I mean, because he even did a good job of sounding like the younger self, right? Like, clearly
that's
he
what
has
I wondered
aged.
if they didn't take clips, because it somehow didn't seem natural. I thought maybe they took clips from the movie and like phonetically made a new sentence or something, which I think they plan to do with Vader, because they've like recorded James Earl Jones or something. So like if he dies, they can still do Darth Vader. I think there was talk of them doing something like that.
Weird.
I mean, I could see him doing that, right?
But then you electronically alter it too, so you can kind of cover up the.
I don't think they did that for him, but I mean, he's a professional voice actor, so
it just sounded off to me somehow.
Well, he didn't speak a lot, and then obviously the movement, the mouth movement was like very minimal, but he wasn't saying a lot, so it's not like he was shouting in the room. So you just try to interpret that when you're having a conversation like that in a room. Is that what that looks like or feels like to you, right? So there's a lot of little minute things you got to look at and experience and see how does that translate when you're digitally changing someone's face. So
yeah,
I could have just took audio clips from A New Hope and like, I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you. That'd have been funny.
Probably would have been. So there's more to come on that. That'll be pretty exciting to see. I'm just ready to see what happens next, because Moff Gideon's still alive. I don't think we've seen the end of him, right?
No.
I think obviously.
I think we'll see him.
They were going to kill him.
No, I think we're going to see the end of him very early on in this next season.
Well,
Like
I was
the second, third episode.
And there's only going to be 3 seasons of Mando, right?
That's what people are thinking. But now that they've gotten rid of Grogu, I don't think they'd do the last season just without Grogu. You know what I mean? And then end it. I think that would be pointless.
Because if they only do 3 seasons and he's a big part of
I think
2/3
they'll...
of it, yeah.
Well, there's also speculation on how all these...
Yeah, they're going to all come together probably in another series. So
I would say to
you'll
wrap
probably
it up.
see his
Yeah, that.
story wrapped up after this 3rd season then. That's possible.
Well, shit, they could even just... They could do all these series and then bring it all together as a movie if they chose to, right? It could be a while because they may not end this for a minute. So...
But Mandalorian Season 3 definitively is not Boba Fett, right?
Correct.
Because there's some people getting that impression.
Well, they were getting that impression
Because it's
until
got
it
the
was
same-
solidified today.
Disney,
They
yeah,
did say
officially
that?
announced that
Okay.
today. Yeah, the
They
book of
announced a
Boba
logo
Fett.
for it.
Because
and
isn't it
everything.
released in December? Both of them?
Yeah, they both will. They're going to be...
They're filming the Boba Fett series right now, and as soon as they're done with that, they're filming Mandalorian Season 3.
I wonder why they're going to release them at the same time.
Maybe they'll coincide. Maybe
They
there's
could.
a strategy to that. You watch one and then watch the other.
Well, yeah, because they know we're going to watch them, right? So if they tell us which one to do...
Or they might do, like, one plays out, and then as soon as that one's finale is the same episode as the other one's first one, and they connect that way somehow, you know? There's lots of ways they could do that, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an awful lot they could do there. So, but that's the Mandalorian, man. This has been a fun season. I really love what they're doing. I think just seeing that episode just gave me all the feels of like, this is everything I wanted in a sequel trilogy, like executed at a much grander scale, right? Because we actually care for some of these characters, right? And that's the problem with the movie is that some of the characters in the sequel trilogy, like we never had enough screen time to care with them, or they never had enough time to develop them while trying to do the overall story. Like John Boyega's character, Finn.
After Force Awakens, what character development?
Exactly.
Well, I think people
Yeah.
wanted to see Luke, Leia, and Han shortly after Return of the Jedi and what they were doing there, not 30 years later and focusing on younger characters.
To be honest, yeah.
The
But
big piece of that, though, was...
Young Luke now is...
Yeah, the big piece of that, though, was just the realistic passage of
They
time
waited
to
too
get there,
long,
yeah.
He should
And
have
that's fine, but I mean, like, obviously we're at a spot where we have technology to do this well, but my hopes would be that if they're going to do something with Luke, like, I don't necessarily want to see someone de-aged all the time, and I don't necessarily want to see him recast. I would like to see an animated show where Mark Hamill does the voice.
I feel like that's your most likely thing, but I don't even think that's going to happen. But I feel like if they're going to do Luke regularly, that's going to be it. Otherwise, he's just going to be an event guy where he pops up here and there maybe 1 or 2 more times or something, you know?
with his hood on.
Yeah, exactly. And he only does some badass shit and then fucking leaves.
Yeah, well, the other thing, like, you can easily do with that is if you're talking to somebody through the Force or a hologram like they typically do in this, right? The technology that used to be perfect for a hologram because you're taking away all the color aspects and attributes to that. So I think there's a lot of possibilities for what...
I can't wait to see some footage from the Kenobi series. You know what I mean? God
Yes.
damn, I'm hoping. I'm just...
When's that supposed to release? In March?
I don't think it's that early, is it? Dear God.
What was I thinking of that's March? I don't know.
I don't think we got it. Isn't WandaVision the next big Disney Plus series dropping?
January. That's when that drops.
Yeah, I think that's the next big release.
And the first episode of one of their other series drops. That's kind of like a recapping series, but it's the WandaVision one where it recaps some of their hair characters, I think so.
Yep, so let's move on.
What are we doing? Retro release reviews?
You know what I just watched? Me pulling a can off some moron's fist? Return of the Jedi.
Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You ever seen that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back? Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro Release Reviews.
Of course. We're just going to do them back to back. We'll talk about them. So this week we're talking Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Santa Claus don't visit the funeral home, little buddy.
We're the wet bandits. We're the sticky bandits.
We're both of those things, just like your mom.
Wet and sticky.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
We're the Nick's Mom's Bandits.
And a bandit.
What's that mean? Well, we're wet and sticky.
You could have done better than that one, I think, but
yeah, it was kind of lazy and uninspired. I get it.
It was there.
Once you pop,
can't stop. Ghostbusters, answer the call reference. Because I'm eating a Pringle.
How did you say no to these salty parabolas?
Mm-hmm. You got to give me one now.
Eat it away from the mic. Only I'm allowed to eat
I
it
don't
the
want
mic.
one of your fingers on it.
I don't want you touching my fucking
You
chips.
just ate all in the... Oh, my God. I only touched that one. We can hear you munch. Why can't I hear mine?
I'm allowed to.
Well, no one will know who's munching.
Well, we already listened to you fucking breathe over here like Darth Vader, so we'll all read it. So Home Alone. We're going to talk the classic Home Alone. One of my favorite Christmas movies growing up just because it's fucking hilarious. And then it holds up so well. It's still just perfect. It's one of those movies you're not even, some movies that don't age well as an adult, and then you watch them like, oh, they're fun for kids, but there's too many plot lines. Like, they've actually thought a lot of this through pretty thoroughly.
Home Alone rules. Yeah. This is one of those movies I watched a bunch as a kid, and I always loved it, but I never thought of it as one of my favorite movies or anything. But I definitely would say it was always one of my favorite movies as a kid, especially the first one.
So your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't know, that's Die Hard.
As a kid?
Yeah.
You thought of it as a Christmas movie?
Mm-hmm.
No, so I get that, man. I mean, this movie's so well done. It's so fun, right? As any kid growing up through that, like, Macaulay Culkin's only 4 years older than I am, so it's funny seeing his post this year. Like, guess
I'm
what?
old.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, guess
Yeah, he
what? I'm
turned
40.
40, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, So,
yeah.
Just the way this whole movie's set up, the family being set up on there, like the whole R. Kelly water sports thing is like set up in here, which really was a downfall of R. Kelly's future life. And if they were to remake this now, I'm sure R. Kelly would be championing that Fuller was a girl. Just that's how he operates.
I was just really lost for a minute. I thought I might have had a stroke. I slipped into an alternate universe where our podcast is about R&B music.
No, I'm talking about R. Kelly's urine fetish, and then Fuller obviously having a urine fetish.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Nick's mom has rubber sheets. She's a little weird, too. Yeah, Alec just did the eye wink like Fuller does. Easy on the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Hey, so fun fact. Home Alone 1 is all Pepsi. Home Alone 2 is Coke
that's
products.
I noticed that.
So they don't say anything about that. But they do, imply that he still wets the bed in Home Alone 2.
Fuller was older. He was a little smarter. He switched to Coke.
That's true. But the thing with that is they don't tell you, a lot of serial killers, were, late bedwetters. So, I just want the Home Alone sequel and Stoned Alone. In the Stoned Alone sequel, I want Fuller to be trying to kill Kevin. And, he's become a serial killer, obviously, because he was a bedwetter until he was, 12. Or longer. That's the real unspoken shit on here.
That's like, Wookie Goldberg, a segment we'll get to later.
Yeah, we got a Shart Tank episode for you all because I couldn't speak right earlier tonight. Oh, and it's going to be a doozy for you.
Oh, yeah.
Wookie Goldberg. You're going to love it. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. Can you believe there's two of us?
No, there are two of them.
No, there are two of them.
That's what it's like. Who are some of your favorite roles in this series of these two films?
Clearly, Harry and Marv, right? They're, when we did our iconic when we did our duos list, they're on there for a reason because
we're gonna do a cosplay of those at some point.
Oh yes.
I guess I have to be Marv.
Do I get to be Kevin?
Yeah, you can be Kevin because you're short enough, and we can lift you up and bite your fingers off.
Yeah, you're little. We could hang you from a door.
Smash his face with an iron.
Santa Claus don't visit the funeral home.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I really like Tim Curry in Home Alone 2.
He's fucking on point. He is so good in that.
Yeah.
John Candy's character is so great in 1 because he tries to tell that story about the funeral parlor in there. And all day. Poor guy didn't. When he finally spoke a few weeks later, you're just like,
oh yeah,
yes, because he's trying to be helpful, right? And I think everyone's experienced someone like that in life, that they're trying to be helpful, they're trying to be useful, and all they do is fucking make things worse.
It's one of those lines in there that you would enjoy as an adult, but I didn't remember that line as a kid. You know, that's one of those things you're not paying as much attention to.
Yeah, you know, like, luckily as a little kid, I didn't have to go to many funerals, right? So,
right.
So that never stood out to me, and I never really paid that much attention until later on. And you're like, been to a funeral home, and you're like, ooh, yeah, that would be a little being traumatic to be left there as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider is glorious in this. No, I'm still got some of my tip from earlier. And he's like, okay, and pulls out a wad of cash.
The wad of 50s. At that.
Oh, she's got a whole box of earrings, a
shoebox full of them.
Or
you got to do the neck jiggle.
Yeah.
Shoebox full of them.
Has the child been hurt on any way, or is he on drugs? The cop eating donut.
Hyper on 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is it's just so well done. Like, everything about it's so fun. Like, even the old man up the street, like, being creepy, and, like, Kevin giving the old guy advice. And, like, I think that's kind of one of those things. They got to build up some tension just to kind of have some other scare stuff going on, right? It kind of really adds a dynamic to it. But then the fact that they get along together and this scary guy comes and saves him later because they've had a conversation. I also like seeing Kevin, like, stop being afraid of the furnace down in the basement. And that furnace in that basement always just reminded me. It seems like that would have been in a real Ghostbusters Kenner toy line, right? Just like a fiery furnace like that with teeth, or chomping furnace or something like that.
That's interesting.
That's what it's always reminded me. Even as a kid, I always thought that, like, this just feels like a Ghostbusters like type of a thing. So, and I love how Kevin's doing what you would expect a kid to do, right? He's jumping on the bed. He hides under his parents' bed when he gets scared.
He has the massive bowl of ice cream, and he watches Angels with Filthy Souls.
Yeah. I'm eating junk food and watching filth. You better come out and stop me.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, lying, no good keister off my porch.
Yellow.
Property, yeah, that's what it says.
Or I'm gonna pump you full of lead.
Pump your guts.
I'm gonna pump your guts full of lead.
Yeah, that's what it is. Pump your guts full of lead.
2, 10.
I love it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
And those are not real movies. Those were shot for those.
Yes, and
those
it's
sequences.
Beautiful. Yes.
And lots of people have petitioned. That's the Home Alone sequel we need, is just make Angels with Filthy Souls. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AC said 10%.
Too bad AC ain't in charge no more.
Snakes. I don't know no snakes.
Yeah, so that's one of the holiday shirts I have from the band Newfound Glory. They had this Home Alone inspired shirt on the back. It's got the Wet Bandits, and it says snakes. I don't know no snakes. And then obviously it's got a candy cane and a crowbar on there. So that's probably one of my favorite holiday shirts because it's those guys. So it's pretty excellent. Makes me happy. I only wear it, like once or twice in the season. Got to keep that special holiday shirt ready for the next year.
There's isn't he on the World Trade Center in that second movie too?
Is that what he goes to the roof of? I know they show it, but
isn't that what he goes to the roof of and does?
I'm not sure which looking tower he's off of. It could have been the Empire State Building as well.
That's what I thought.
I think that's where that's at.
He does look up at the Twin Towers.
I feel like it's not, but hey, what do I know?
I don't know. It could be.
I don't remember. I haven't watched it in 2 or 3 years. You both recently watched it, and you still don't know.
Yeah, the last 2 nights.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it's the Empire State Building because that's when I went to New York. That's what I looked down on. Obviously, I was there post 9/11.
Can anyone just go to the roof of the Twin Towers back then, or?
Most of those are all like toured things and like paid things, but I don't even know how high you could go in the Twin Towers, to be honest with you. So I'm pretty sure it's the Empire State Building.
Fuck that.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Well, that's what producer boy should be doing. So, in Home Alone 2, obviously I talked about this recently, but the talk boy they use in the movie was just invented for this movie, which then became a real product.
But it was on the shelves for Christmas, I think, the same year, right?
Nope, he goes to the World Trade Center.
It was?
First shot of him walking up to it.
Yeah, because it was right after they showed that.
And then there are shots of him when it zooms out. That's what I thought. It zooms out from him on there, like a helicopter shot. He's looking out, and then it zooms out and shows him.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, okay, yeah, it does show the other building.
So, I'm the smartest man alive because I know Home Alone 2 trivia.
I didn't know you could go to the roof of those. You always hear about people going to the Empire State Building roof. So.
Well, this was 1992. Better yet, 1994.
I love how they have the advertisement for the hotel in there, which is why Kevin knows like that's where he wants to call and stay when he gets into New York. He's like, oh, and this is one I know from TV, right?
You got it. No problem.
Credit card, you've got it. Hi, I'm Mr. McAllister. My son will be...
The Mr. McAllister who lives here?
Yes.
Get out of here, you nosy little pervert.
What is that song he's singing? We know a guy who's something, something, cougar.
Yeah. That's amazing, too.
Need to get that on a playlist.
You put that blow-up clown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his swimming trunks come off in the pool. You guys mind if I work on my cannonballs? And it's a bunch of elderly people, and they're just like...
I need to get a Michael Jordan standee just because of that movie and see if anybody gets it. Or if they just think I'm a Michael Jordan fan.
Put him on a train.
They would get it then, hopefully. I would do that at Christmas, put him on a train track around the Christmas tree. I'm getting so many ideas. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a Michael Jordan, like, starting lineup action figure and putting him on a train, like a model train size thing, and hanging it on the Christmas tree as an ornament. That's a fucking ornament we need.
Well, since it's a standee in there, you should probably just print one out, paste it to cardboard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Mayor. The other thing I love... Mayor. I always think of Donatello and Ninja Turtles, too.
I know, but when you say it, it sounds like Mayor, so then I go to that. So
Yes.
it's always a journey from Ninja Turtles to Back to the Future.
We live in movie quotes and pop culture, so this is our experience. Welcome to it. This is how we think.
Would you like to know more? Hey, another movie reference.
Exactly.
I get it! It's funny.
Starship Troopers?
Yeah. So what if Home Alone was just Gary Busey and he was Home Alone?
Well, pre or post brain injury?
Like a month after.
Post.
Oh, fucking... Jesus, that could be a movie in its own right.
But he is Kevin McAllister.
And he's just like... Oh,
Buzz, I'm going through all your private stuff. Better come out and pound me.
Oh, God.
That's fucking sick. You're sick, Mom. You know that's just sick.
Exactly.
So you watched both of them recently, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Has your thoughts changed on them, like especially which one you like more?
The first one I love, man. There's nothing I would change about that movie. It's so well done. Like, everything just plays out perfectly. You got the power lines, or the phone lines are down because the windstorm comes through. Like,
what are you talking about? The phone lines are over there.
What'd I say? Phone lines are over there.
What have I been doing? While you've been in coffee for an hour? Been digging a big hole. Can't talk now. Movie quotes, that's all we do, people. In case you've never listened to this before, it's all dicks and movie quotes.
50% Ghostbusters quotes.
You suck 37 dicks. See? Did both in one there.
His mom was at 37, but now she's at 39.
37's just a record for it once.
Oh, yeah, that was her record for one video.
Listen to that silence of just like...
Dead air.
Yeah, Nick awkwardly just absorbing it all in. I'm like, who knows what Nick actually
just like his mom's spongy vagina. Oh my God. Absorbing it all in, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, who knows what kind of trauma he really went through in his childhood. Like, we've been through trauma. Like, who knows what he's got. Like, he might just rage kill us someday. We won't even expect it.
Oh,
he does have his nipples pierced, so that leads me to believe there's something wrong with him.
That was a day.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you pierce me?
Yeah.
I just thought maybe you had more to say about my question. Do you prefer... Because, like, I think I, as a kid, liked the second one more, but now I prefer the first one for sure.
Oh, the first one, hands down, is better. The second one is a rewrite of the first one just in New York City. And it works well because it's fun. I think that's what makes it The first 2/3 of that are what make it great. And then you randomly get into the uncle's house up there, and that's where it really kind of gets boring. But they do change things up a little bit. And there's some lines I really love in there.
Couldn't the whole family have gone to New York and he just got separated? Wouldn't that still have worked?
No.
You don't think that would have worked?
Clearly not, because he knew what he was doing. So he would have found them within an hour.
Yeah, he's too smart from all the shit he's been through. He would have figured it out quickly if they're actually there.
He'd figured out how to get to his uncle's house.
Yeah.
From his dad's address book.
Well, I thought,
he would have found them.
And the founder of Wally World is actually the owner of Duncan's Toy Chest. So, anyone for
that's right. I thought he looked familiar. Yeah.
Yep. So, no, the second one, it's really fun. It holds up surprisingly well. There's a lot of great stuff in there, but when you get to some of those moments, but it's still very quotable. There's some amazing lines in there. I love to say, like, I see Alec be like, "Hey, are you wearing aftershave? The rope, it's soaked in kerosene." And you're like, yes. And then he lights the fucking rope on fire. And every time I say that to Alec, I just imagine a rope on fire and those guys going, right? Like, it's just how life works. It works better that way.
Mm-hmm. Just like every time I go to the bathroom, I like to quote Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
You ever hear of a kicker named Ray Finkel?
I can't tell you how many times he's done that and how many times I still laugh, because that's always funny.
Yeah, it's just gold.
You know how the mom almost runs into him at the end before before Marv and them go through the... I feel like she could have gotten in on the action, maybe. Oh. Since she was already there, but then she gets in the cab and leaves.
She could have been the sticky bandit. Is that what you're saying?
She could have been the hostage, and then Kevin has to save her.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure this was written by
your mom,
John Hughes again, so he knew what he's doing with it. He made it different enough so it was fun, but at the same time, he kind of had to give you what you want, which is like that love-hate thing for sequels, right? And it's always something you're going to deal with. Like, how do you put them in new situations that are different? Because you've got the whole hotel situation thing going on, which is funny in its own right.
As far as kids' sequels go, this is great. And it doesn't have to be revolutionary in sequelizing it. I will give it that. If it was a more serious movie, I would give it more shit. But we all know there's very few sequels that we hold dear into our hearts. Other than things like, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Gremlins. A lot of other things, the sequels degrade in quality. Terminator and Aliens are the only other ones where people would argue that it climbed up a little bit and then steeply went off, but...
off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, Alien 3 didn't drop it down as much as Terminator 3 did, though.
Oh, God, no. I mean, Alien 3 is still an interesting concept on its own, but it just wasn't executed in a great way.
Yeah. But now looking back, Terminator 3 is watchable compared to the other ones. It's like, this is really, it's a Terminator movie. It is.
You got Arnold before he got too far from...
They introduced enough new elements in the supporting cast. I would almost argue that the supporting cast is better in the sequel.
Yeah,
just
that's
because
true.
there's some additional characters there, right? You got everyone you love from the first one in there, right? And the hotel staff is great. Everyone on that staff. Boney Bob Cliff, he's like, Cliff, the old security guard's like, no.
What does he say? I can't remember because I didn't watch this recently.
You've been
he says
smooching with everybody.
You've been smooching with... And he says
Mo
a guy's name or something.
Yeah,
and then he's
Mo,
like,
Boney Bob, Cliff. No. Yeah. The supporting cast is amazing in there. The things that I would love to have seen taken out is the old bird lady.
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
The old bird lady didn't serve a purpose. Like, her character is pretty boring just in the way she was executed. And it's not that she's a bad actress by any means. It's just that the character isn't compelling, right? You don't need that character in there. It's just unnecessary.
I thought of something last night. Like, he goes and gives her a turtle dove, but his family's rich, right? And she saved his life. Don't you think the parents would reward her?
Well,
maybe with some money.
Yes and no, but it's hard to say, right? And then
you don't get to stay rich by handing poor people money.
That's not what I'm saying.
Is what I would believe his father would say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because he's obviously doing something right. If they're flying all over the country for this stuff.
Yeah, you ever see their house?
Could have invited her in.
God damn.
Yeah, but you're not going to show all that bullshit in a fucking movie like that. You just got to cut the chase. That's the kind of shit that gets cut out of the second draft of the flick. You're like, okay, this is not necessary. The other thing in that's interesting is when they go up and they're listening to the music, right? They're watching the orchestra play. and she's just like bumming out, living up there, and you're like, wait, are you homeless or not? Because you spend a lot of time on the streets for someone who has access to the private attic of a very nice orchestra, right? So, and then one could argue that Dana Barrett was possibly playing in that orchestra, and bring this in canon with Ghostbusters.
You're the best one in your row.
Oh, you're great. Most people can't hear me with the whole orchestra playing.
Yeah, I did that joke on my first ex-wife because she was in an orchestra and she played violin. So I did tell her one time, you were great. You're the best one in your row. That's funny to me.
No, both of these movies hold up. The first one, I think, is better executed, just overall, but it's fun. You know, I love some of the scenes and the humor in there, too. The stuff that you don't catch as a little kid is so dark, right? And that's why it's so great for John Hughes, because he's able to put shit in there that you may not necessarily catch otherwise, right? Yeah, he's known for a coming-of-age drama, but he's also, like, when they can't find Kevin, you know, maybe committed suicide.
Yeah.
And, like, as a kid, you have no, like, you know, that just flies over your head. Yeah, and then as, like, an adult, you watch that, and you're like, as an adult, you're like, Jesus, that's fucking dark, but it's hilarious.
It's
like,
where your dad went, sweetie.
It's almost like Ghostbusters in some regards, because, like, you get older and you catch these jokes that you didn't notice as a kid that just make it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about the whole Phoebe Cates speech in Gremlins and stuff like that, that it just goes over your head as a kid. You just don't... It doesn't process. So that's Home Alone and Home Alone 2.
Lost in New York.
Yep, we won't talk about the other ones. The third one's okay. It was still written by John Hughes. But
I think we might cover it eventually at some point on something in some format or way.
Yeah.
So
there's plenty of Christmas.
But only
left.
that one. I don't know if that one's a Christmas movie, is it? I think it does revolve around him getting a remote control car.
Oh, yeah, he has like
he's
chicken
got
pox or something.
Yeah, he has chicken pox. That's why
and
he's
that's
home.
why he's home alone. Yeah.
Which you could just say he has herpes, because the herpes is technically, chickenpox is a form of herpes, just not, you know, the sexual stigma version of herpes.
Moving along.
I'm just trying to educate Nick on these things.
This week's top 5.
He's got like 10 versions of herpes, and he's got like the Pokemon herpes.
This week's
time I have an
top
outbreak,
5
we'll cover
sexually
Home Alone
transmitted
3.
diseases that we've given your mom.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
Top 5.
Herpes is the top.
Well, he's got all varieties.
Number 1, AIDS.
No, it starts at 5.
He's got canker sores.
Number 2,
Start at 5.
Super AIDS.
Top 5. 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 Top 5.
This is top 5.
All right.
We're doing top 5 sports films. I don't know if we actually already said that or not, but...
No, you didn't. So top 5 sports films, and we just want to throw something out there, and I knew this one would be something that Alec and Nick would be like, what the fuck? So here's a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, we don't care too much about sport ball, so...
Yeah, we're all...
I did watch that season of sport ball where the guy made the touch pass. And so that was cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
sports are doomed. Not really. I mean, sports are just what they are. I just never really cared too much for them. I like them a little bit, but I'm more of like I like to go live and drink.
Sports
and
fans were cosplaying long before everyone else, wearing their favorite jerseys.
That's a cosplay now?
That's how is that not cosplay? That's cosplay.
I disagree.
If you're dressed up to the whole 9 yards.
If you're dressed up to the whole 9 yards with a football helmet and a fucking mouthpiece and a goddamn cockpiece.
Yeah, just wearing a fucking just wearing a jersey isn't cosplay.
It's not cosplay because I wore jerseys growing up, and I never felt like I was dressing up like the player. You're more of like wearing their symbol.
So if you're saying if I wear your mom's underwear, I'm cosplaying as your mom?
No, you're cross-dressing.
No, I'm cosplaying as your mom.
You can't wear women's underwear.
Just wear them backwards.
You have to wear like...
I got all the room you need that way.
If they're really big, yeah. Like several sizes above your...
Uh-huh.
Well, you're...
Go on.
So, on my OnlyFans, I will be cosplaying as Nick's mom.
I did that for Halloween in 2000. I looked just like her. I didn't wear her clothes, but
Now you're trying to backpedal. You're like, Jesus Christ, what did I
it wasn't
just
her. No, I meant
You wore your sister's clothes instead. That's fine.
Nope.
Fucking sicko.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Draft Day by Ivan Reitman with Kevin Costner.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
I've
with that.
never seen that shit either.
It's an Ivan Reitman movie?
Fuck yeah, it's a great movie.
What year was it?
2014.
What?
The fuck have you been?
Never heard of that.
It's a great
Yeah, I don't
flick.
care for Kevin Costner either much, so that's probably why I haven't.
It's obviously it's a sports movie about draft day going on, and it's just really interesting to see how that goes on and like the cooperation the NFL had with all that. And it's Ivan Reitman, so I definitely had to check it out
I just watched that.
Oh, so in other words,
I just watched that Joe Blow video. What the fuck happened to Kevin Costner? I don't think they mentioned that movie. It's weird.
Oh no, he's in it. Chadwick Boseman's in it.
Jennifer
There's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch of people in that movie.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in there.
No, I never heard of that. I'll have to check that out.
I
Is
will
it
not.
funny?
It's got some humorous moments, and
got
it's
some
not like a
Ivan-
slapstick comedy because it's kind of a serious drama, but it's got
really?
its funny moments. Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's why it's my number 5.
Okay.
All right, Nick Lips, what's your number 5?
I put Radio, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and Ed Harris.
You're fucked in the head, man.
That's amazing.
Well, it's not like I've seen every sports movie. I can't just put a movie I've never seen.
Let
on
me
there.
guess your number 1. Cool Runnings.
No. Oh, I didn't think of that.
You dumb bastard. All right, Alec, go ahead. What's your number 5?
He's gonna say Cool Runnings.
Kingpin.
Oh, I didn't
Fuck
think
yeah,
Kingpin
that's
either.
a classic one. That's amazing.
Bill Murray bowling with his bald fucking hair and he's a total asshole.
With this Donald Trump come over?
That
yes.
alone is worth it. And then
I love
the rest of the movie, Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid all together. It's glorious.
Can I change mine?
No, you can't change your top 5.
You can change ones that you haven't said yet.
Damn.
All right, so my number 4
I'll keep it different.
is White Men Can't Jump.
I see it. I've never seen that movie, so I've never.
It's pretty good. I mean,
opinion.
they're basically playing basketball on the street, hustling people for money and shit.
Kind of familiar with the concept. I've seen little pieces and posters and stuff like that, but
It's I'd seen it as a kid, but I watched it again maybe a couple of years ago, a year or two ago, and it actually really holds up.
Isn't it Rosie Perez in that too, or am I thinking?
I'm not sure if that's who that is, but it's Woody Harrelson
That's
and
one where
Wesley
Woody Harrelson
Snipes.
wins the lottery, though.
So, what's your number 4?
Me? I put Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula and.
I don't know if I've seen that one. Also.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but
you have seen it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
my number 4 is Lafferty Daniel and Gilmore
Fuck, I
Happy.
didn't think of that either.
Really?
How the fuck did you not think of that? Well, fuck you.
That was originally where I had Karate Kid, but I was determined to go a little more real sportsy. Even though we did determine that Karate Kid qualifies, it's still going to be an honorable mention for me. But either way, what's your number 3?
Mighty Ducks 2.
Emilio!
Now, one might argue that the Mighty Ducks.
You know they're making another one with him in it.
Is it a TV series?
Yeah, that was a
Something.
series. Yeah.
Well, they're just making a sequel with him in it. That's all I know.
Yeah, so the first one's good, but it's more about him being an alcoholic and like trying to get this team of kids together. And so the second one's about the kids forming a USA hockey team for the Junior Olympics or some shit.
That would be. Sorry.
And that's why I just like that one more. It's fun. It's more about the kids. It's more focused on
Let me
them
just
having
say,
fun.
I haven't watched those movies since I was probably 6 or 7 years old, maybe at tops.
Okay.
And I loved them when I was a kid. So maybe at some point I'll buy them and we'll review them.
That's a Disney property, right?
Yeah, we can watch those on Disney Plus, I think.
Yeah, but I'd rather have them.
Well, that's fine. So what's your number 3, Nick Lips?
I put Varsity Blues.
Oh.
It's pretty enjoyable.
You really like Chris Evans with that whipped cream, huh?
Yeah.
Figured you would.
I prefer Chris Evans with the whipped cream in Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh.
He sticks it on his ass.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's your favorite dessert.
Exactly.
Right, what's your number?
What, are you telling me you wouldn't eat Chris Evans' ass? If presented the opportunity? I probably would. Fuck it.
No,
you tell people I ate Chris Evans' ass? You know how many people can say that? That's America's ass.
I also got to point out we didn't have a lot of prep time for this one. So.
Don't make excuses.
How come our lists are incredible and yours? Wow, my list is incredible. What are we at?
3.
My 3?
Yes, you're 3.
The Sandlot.
Yep.
I thought about that.
It's wonderful. It's great. Rewatchability up there.
Yep.
One of the best children's movies fucking ever made. So.
Yeah, it's great. It's got sports. It's got action outside of sports. It's very well rounded. I like that. Yep.
Yes.
Number 2, Caddyshack.
Oh, didn't think of that either.
About the Murray brothers being caddies. That movie started off actually about caddies, and then fucking production nightmares and all the stars and everyone else they cast are like, well, we're going to have to change this, but it's pretty awesome. I love it. Never get tired of it. Number 2, Nick.
I put Ladybugs.
Because I told him to put that on his list. I didn't know he'd put that as his number 2.
I figured I like it.
Another Rodney Dangerfield sports classic for you, and the kid that killed himself. I forget his name.
Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah. He worked with Rodney Dangerfield and Chuck Norris.
Yeah, another good movie, Chuck Norris. Sidekicks.
And he couldn't fucking cope. It's fucking sad, man.
It was
sad.
on Sequest.
Everyone goes through some shit we don't understand.
My number 2.
Sequest?
Has Bill Murray on a golf course.
Oh.
And it's called Space Jam.
Yeah, I was going to say Space Jam,
Only reason I didn't put Caddyshack on this list and put Space Jam instead is so I could make that joke for one. And also because I've put Caddyshack on like a bunch of other lists before. I remember we've talked a bunch about it before, so I was like, oh, I'll just knock it off because Caddyshack is up there. I fucking love Caddyshack. But Space Jam, I was like 5 when that came out, so it hit me right in the fucking perfect spot to...
It hit you in the perfect spot?
Yeah, it hit my G-spot, man.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like
my theoretical G-spot in my brain as a child. Unless you're implying that as a child, a film raped me. You know, but whatever. You're the one who brought it up.
You really need to get some help about those issues, Nick. I can't believe you fucking traumatized out with that shit.
I just farted.
My number 1 is fucking Happy Gilmore. I fucking love that movie. It's hilarious. I never get tired of watching it. It's so good, and the announcers on there messing with everything. Happy Gilmore is being an asshole. All the other scenes.
That's probably the sports movie I have seen the most.
I just love that movie. Anytime it's on or like whatever. Not that I ever fucking channel surf because I'm not fucking 90. But, you know, it used to be like when it was on TV, you'd watch it. And then now, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that again. I like it. It's funny. What about you, Nick?
I put Basketball.
God damn it.
I didn't even think of that either.
Finally, something you guys didn't think
Well,
of.
congratulate you for that one. I'll give you that because I didn't think of that.
Just when I think you can't get any fucking dumber, you go and you do it. You totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Our list could have been very similar if we thought it out, I think.
Number 1, baby.
Your number 1?
Cool Runnings.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Didn't we mention Cool Runnings when he was outside?
I don't know. I know I mentioned him.
That was the first one that came to my mind, dude. Was Cool Runnings. I loved it as a kid, and I love it now still. John Candy and the fucking Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it's very uplifting. It's like the Rocky of sled movies.
All the sled movies.
Of the sled movies, you know, like Citizen Kane and this.
Christmas Vacation.
There you go.
It's, definitely a good choice. Definitely. John Candy movies.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. It's lighthearted, heartwarming. It's a Disney movie.
What's your top 5? Comment in the comments.
Top 5 sports movies.
And don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
A couple honorable mentions were Dodgeball.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Point Break.
Yeah.
It's extreme sports.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't put it on the list, but it came to mind, you know, when thinking of sport movies. It's like, that's one I actually enjoy. They're surfing, they skydive.
Yeah, extreme sports, and that was the big thing in the 90s. Actually, that was just a little bit ahead of its time.
Extreme.
Before the
extreme.
ESPN Extreme Games took over the world.
I was thinking Twister.
For a sports movie?
No. The Extreme.
Hey, tornado chasing could be a sport. Extreme sport.
How do you...
I don't know. Coming in your mom's ass could be a sport if I fucking gave myself 10 points for it.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
You gonna put a scoreboard
You
up?
win by not dying, Justin.
That's fucked up. You're fucked in the head.
So you're saying we're all losers because we're all gonna eventually die?
No, I mean...
Nope, can't take it back. Shut the fuck up.
If you
I
don't
win.
die when you
I'm
go
right.
out,
You're wrong. I'm
tornado
big. You're
chasing,
small.
you come home.
I'm very handsome. You're not.
You are big and I'm tall.
All right, what's next?
You're as wide as I'm tall.
Want to do a little episode by episode action?
We now return to the real Ghostbusters.
Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks.
Pretty good.
Gilmore is the funniest man on the planet.
Episode by episode.
Episode by Schmegmasode.
So we need a Christmas episode. You know, it's still Christmas time in the city. So we chose Batman the Animated Series.
And Justin, for some reason, has a memory of a Christmas episode of this show that has Harley Quinn in it.
I remember it.
The evidence
I didn't get a chance to rewatch it.
Is unsupported,
yes,
according to the internet, of this episode existing, however.
Yes. It's one of those things where your brain just mashes things together.
Justin has a Mandela effect of this episode that doesn't actually exist.
It's
so
true.
If you recall an episode of the Batman the Animated
right?
Series, no, we watched an episode, which was the one I remembered, which is just Christmas with the Joker. It's the second episode of the series.
Was the
Has
was
Robin
the one
in
with
it?
Harley actually a Christmas episode? I think I remember the one you were talking about.
She's in a lot of episodes.
She's in plenty, but yeah, no, I completely misremembered there. So I need to watch the episodes with her in
Is
it
that the
to
one where
see-
she gets like they let her out of Arkham or something?
No, there's a bunch of them out there. So don't try to like remember one like me. Don't make an ass of yourself and just fuck it up. Your memory's not serving you like you think it's serving you. Neither did mine. It's okay. But we did watch episode 2, and it was fun.
Yeah, every time I watch this show, I'm always like, my God, this animation.
The
So
animation
good.
and the voice acting, too, for me,
yeah.
right? Because episode 1 is like whatever, but the second episode, obviously the debut of Mark Hamill as the Joker, who still, up until recently, has been doing the voice of the Joker in different animated versions, video games, everything. So it's like, yeah, he's awesome as Luke Skywalker, but his fucking career is much more storied and vibrant as the Joker for all the things he's done there. So
Yeah.
pretty incredible there to see that. So it was fun to see just his first episode of that character and hearing him sing like Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, and then steals a fucking Christmas tree that's a rocket. Like all this absurd shit that would never happen in reality, but is really fun to watch. And then obviously, you know, you've got Robin in this episode, and like, you know, they kind of portray Bruce as a fucking grouch. You know, he's like, oh, well, I just want to be on the streets patrolling as Batman, and I don't want to go home and watch TV and have fun.
And Robin's like, can't I just sit here and get drunk and beat off? I mean, shit. Can't that be what we do on Christmas? I haven't jerked off in days, Batman. I got a fucking load of brewing.
As a teenager, it's probably a problem.
I mean, I imagine if I was Robin, that's what I'd be concerned with. I'd be like, are we done yet? I gotta get out of these pants. My balls are blue. I mean, we've been fucking fighting Poison Ivy, and man, she makes my rod stiff. Batman's probably like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I understand that.
Good times. So this episode was pretty entertaining once it got going. Like the setup of it was kind of slow going, just with Batman and them kind of drumming around town with it being kind of boring. But once the episode picked up, then it picked up the stakes pretty quick. So I enjoyed it. It's fun. You know, I like how he's broadcasting over the TV stuff. Like you see Joker like taking over that. So it's like the famous Joker in the Christmas sweater, like in front of the tree.
Yeah, he's
and
trying
all
to
that
watch
stuff.
like It's a Wonderful Life, and the Joker comes on there, and he's like, we'll not be showing It's a Wonderful Life. We'll be showing my butthole, or whatever he says. I don't know. He says some crazy Joker shit.
No, but for an animated series, you're like, okay, that's episode 2.
Attack of the Clones.
Pretty fucking impressive for a second episode of an animated series that you're like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do there. Nah, Attack of the Clones is a little less impressive, but impressive nonetheless.
But it's mostly animated.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
So Batman has a movie theater in his house too.
Jesus, that movie theater's amazing. Like the nice seats he has in there when they sit down to watch that. Yeah.
So it's not like the little tiny TV in Batman Returns?
No, he's got, yeah. Obviously, they took the criticism of that and made him have a home theater. So
It's cold.
It's supposed to be.
It's fishy. What do they call it?
What, a fishwa?
Fishy sway, so it's supposed to be cold.
Yeah.
Batman eats a lot of soup.
Yeah,
I've been eating a lot of soup these days from Panera Bread. Sponsor us. Because apparently I'm going to eat at your restaurant a lot more because fuck Chipotle putting meat in my goddamn...
They didn't stick any meat
It's the second time I've gotten
bowl?
meat from that Chipotle in my fucking...
Oh, that wasn't the first time?
No.
Oh, well, fuck.
Yeah, it triggers me.
You could have got a year's supply of Chipotle for that.
And then they'll put meat in it.
Oh. Just don't go to that
fucking
one.
wieners.
Yeah, so Nick obviously didn't watch this episode of Batman the Animated Series because...
Not recently, no.
We didn't really tell him to.
Yeah.
I recommend everyone go, especially... What is this series on right now? Where can you go and watch this?
I don't think it streams anywhere legally. But
I know
the Blu-ray set is pretty cheap for the whole series. So.
Well, Alec bought the Blu-ray set. We went in halvesies on it. I just took the digital copy. He's got the disc set, so we watched it on Vudu.
Yeah.
But it's fun. There's definitely a lot of episodes I want to go back and watch again.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it all. But it's one of those shows from the 90s. I love these like 90s goth aesthetic shows. And it was animated, famously on like black paper and shit. And it has like just a different vibe where the other shows that I would compare it to that don't match its vibe, obviously, but they match a darker aesthetic are like Extreme Ghostbusters and the Gargoyles show.
And it was so good that the comics adapted things from it. Like,
yes.
Like Harley Quinn or Mr. Freeze's backstory. So the comics...
Yeah, no, this is really well done for the time, and it really set precedence for Batman for a lot of people. Fun fact on this, so Danny Elfman had previously done a score for a TV show and like got rights for, residuals for when the TV was in syndication and stuff. And so at first he didn't want to do that with this, but once he found out the cartoon was going to be in syndication, there's going to be all those extra payments out of it. Then
he wanted his theme used for the money.
Yeah, then he was insistent upon them using his version of the theme. So I love the continuity that carries over, right?
Which
it's
funny. You may or may not know in our regular podcast, the little outro music when the lady robot voice is going, "Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast." The little Batman outro music is there where it goes down, 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 but I just like digitally fucked it up.
Yeah, I didn't hear it until you told me that, and then I hear it now.
Yeah, it's in our regular intro, but not the holiday intro, so.
Oh, yeah.
But that's always cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool?
That's my Adam Sandler. I like watch Batman on Christmas. Ew.
Hey, you know what? No one left on their. No one had Waterboy on their. Sports list. You know why?
That's another thing.
Because it's not very good.
No.
Overrated, overhyped.
Doesn't hold up as much.
God, no, it doesn't. It's terrible.
Little Nicky, however, that holds up.
Popeye's chicken's the fucking shit.
He used to call me Little Nicky when I had emo hair back in the day.
Oh, yeah, he looked just like him. And he'd like fucking walk and say that line all the time. It was glorious.
Do all the noises.
And keep in mind, Alec was like 13 or 14 at the time, maybe, right? Or older than that?
17, maybe.
Oh, really? God damn. My concept of time is just fucking weird.
Well, I mean, yeah. I turned 30 in a month.
Oh, my God.
That's fucking weird, man.
Gotta take you to the strip club.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just take me to your mom's house. She'll do the dance.
Yeah, and you get paid for that. It's not like you don't have to pay out. Whoa.
And I don't have to get blue balls. I'll actually get to bust over there.
Oh my God.
You're allowed to do that at the strip club.
I don't know what strip clubs you go to.
Yeah, where you been going? You've been going to one of those massage parlors that got shut down for having happy endings?
You gotta keep it in your pants.
Over the pants handies are no fun, man.
Yeah, that just sounds
if
like
that's your only option, sure.
They have the
but
champagne room. You gotta pay a little extra.
And then she'll come in there with like the previous guy's jizz all over her hand as she jerks you off, and it's like,
oh, you're like, it's already wet already.
Yeah, she's using the previous guy's lube.
It's dry and crusty.
It's cum as lube
then.
on yours, yeah. Or I guess in your case. I mean, you got to make that joke. Come on. And nobody can see this, so it's not as funny. But I was like, oh, I made a joke about Nick having a small peener.
It's not that small.
It's not that small.
As long as you put googly eyes on and it looks funny, most people will smile and cheer up about that. So
should do that.
There's already a whole Tumblr for that.
Glow in the dark.
Things my dick does, I think is what it's called.
Things my dick do.
Chick got tired of receiving dick pics, so then she started to empower herself by taking pictures of people's penises dressed up in costume. God bless the internet and entrepreneurship.
I recall coming across penis puppetry on HBO when I was like 13 once on accident. Or Cinemax or some of those channels.
Penis puppetry.
No, I'm not even fucking kidding. This guy was like making his penis and balls look like the Loch Ness Monster by like twisting the head.
Ew.
Like think of balloon animals and shit. And he was standing naked on a stage making shapes with his penis, and it was terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, there's some fucked up shit out there, right? We think about that, and then, like, that's just what we had. Like, people have full access to the entire internet nowadays with video, and it wasn't just pictures.
Yeah. That's why, like, 19-year-old girls are having, like, fucking BDSM anal sex already. They're like, I'm already bored with this. You know what I'm saying? It's like in Clerks 2 when Randall has that discussion where he's like, 19-year-old chicks do shit their 30-year-old counterparts will never do.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's weird like that. It's just more progressive. Let's put it that way. That's a nicer way to say it.
It's more progressive, but at the same time, like, you realize, like, how scary that is as a society that we become that.
Oh, yeah, because internet pornography was a thing when I was a 12-year-old, and we would all group around the computer and be like, oh, my God, we're going to look at some weird shit for a minute. And it was never, like, as weird as it is now that you can just find. Because you could literally, in 3 seconds, we could find all sorts of really fucked up shit that I won't even go into.
Well, no, I mean, and then there's also the time that my mom and my brother were researching flags for a school project for Alec, and my mom in front of Alec typed in fags into the search bar instead of flags.
Yeah, instead of French flags, it was French fags she typed in.
Oui.
I just remember seeing 2 naked dudes making out.
Oh.
And it didn't, like... I mean, I knew what gay people were at that point, so, it didn't bother me or anything.
Well, no, like...
Did it move?
Who really cares? But, I mean, I guess the big thing is, is that going to scar you or traumatize you, whatever. But I just thought it was funny because our mom is not great with technology, so the fact that she misspelled flags does not surprise me.
Yeah.
No offense, Mom, if you ever listen to this trash.
Oh, God.
So we're going to be coming at you live on Christmas Day with a special episode. We'll be talking about a few good old things.
What movies will we be covering?
We're talking Scrooged.
Scrooged.
And the Alf Christmas special.
The fucking tearjerker. Nick, if you don't cry when we watch this, then you're not a fucking human.
I probably won't.
You don't ever have really emotions anyway.
No.
I don't even know if you love yourself.
I am a robot.
Any other movies or?
Any other movies? No, Scrooged and then Alf.
Scrooged and Alf, because Alf is about 42 minutes, so I think that's a good replacement for a movie. A lot of people consider it a TV movie, even though it's not.
Was that a 2-parter or just an extended episode?
Extended episode.
Yeah.
So. But that's, I think, what we're going to do is Alf and that.
And what's the top 5 list?
We don't have one.
No, but we probably will talk the Mandalorian special because we'll have time to have watched that by then. That drops that
The
day.
behind-the-scenes thing you were talking about?
Yep, so hopefully we'll get a little insight and talk about that a little bit. We might talk about a little gift exchanging that Alec and I are doing. Even though we've already done most of it, we might just do a little show and tell.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll do is we'll just be like, hey, look at this thing.
Hey, look at this thing I got. Look at this thing I got. And we'll just be grateful that we have almost made it into another year.
2021.
You know, we started podcasting in what, April?
39 weeks ago.
Yep.
That's pretty nice. By the time the new Ghostbusters comes out, we'll be well into a year of podcasting.
Absolutely.
Depending on how it goes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, that depends on how this vaccine rollout goes.
Which I'm hopeful for. I've seen a lot of people talking shit on it, obviously, but they're all fucking nut jobs.
Yeah, anyone that has a fucking opinion on it that's not a medical professional can go fuck right off, because I'll go get it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, the vaccine. Okay, I thought we were talking about Ghostbusters.
I got enough life insurance, and if I fucking die, okay.
Send these people back to the 50s.
Oh, that's how vaccines
and, you know, it's the same thing.
I know, but everyone's like,
vaccines.
and everyone's like, you got to worry about this or that. You're like, you got to worry about what the fucking food industry is putting inside you. Don't you fucking worry about a vaccine, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah. Worry about what's in your makeup. Worry about what's in your shampoo. Worry about how it's tested
meth.
on animals. Worry about what your priest is doing to your children. I mean, have real concerns here.
Yeah, not fake concerns that you're like, oh, I'm so concerned about this. Like, you've got fake concerns.
Yeah.
You're fucking lazy. Like, take down the Catholic Church for their sex abuse ring scandal. Take down the politicians for their sex abuse ring scandal. Take down the politicians for the way they've just fucking been banking money all year while everyone else is like, hey, we got a $600 check for you. And you're like, it's like the time my friend PJ put coins down on the stage for the stripper because he was so drunk and out of it and wanted to leave the strip club that the stripper picked up the change and threw it at him. So we had to take him out of there. We literally had to drop what we were doing and all leave so we didn't get kicked out. And that's basically what our elected officials have done for us. They basically put the change on there. So some people might throw that change back.
This is a fucked up story. I'm uncomfortable with this story.
Yeah, I'm just saying the government's basically fucking us over by being cheap and lazy and profiting off of us.
I'm just saying, yeah, you don't come across good in that story.
Oh, PJ? No, PJ was really fucked up in that night. Yeah.
That's a weird.
So the government is the stripper, or
I'm confused.
PJ's the government.
PJ's the government. He's
the
so
stripper
fucking
is
drunk
us.
and out of it, he has no idea what's going on. That he thinks.
So then,
giving
who are
someone
you guys?
We're just the.
PJ's the government.
Yeah, PJ's the entire government.
PJ's the government, but who are you?
Justin is Rudy Giuliani.
We're basically.
I was about to say you're Don Trump Jr.
I mean, yeah, I guess in this light, I just kind of thought it was a funny story to tell, and I thought I could wrap it into this. It didn't work so well, but you know what? It's funny. Yeah, but PJ,
what are you gonna do with your $600? Let us know in the comments.
As Billy Crystal would say, this was last week. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? City Slickers 2 fans out there.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, next time you see your mom, tell her I lost my watch and I need it back.
I'll see her on Thursday.
Good. It's a City Slickers 2 reference. You should recognize that one. Or that's the first one. Lose the watch.
Are we gonna cover those movies one day?
Oh yeah, I have a box set of those on VHS.
Hey, we're only 39 weeks into this motherfucker. There's plenty of time for Billy Crystal movies. Don't you worry about that.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty of time.
We love us some of that Billy Crystal. You know who else is in those movies? Daniel Stern from Home Alone and Home Alone 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fucking glorious. You know who's in City Slickers 2? John Lovitz. I fucking love that guy.
You love it.
So it looks like we've come to a grinding halt.
Excuse me.
I would say I would be very happy if you went over to our YouTube and subscribed to that. Checked out some of our videos. We did just upload another episode of Spectre Vision where we cover Silent Night, Deadly Night. And we will be uploading another one this week for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. So be sure to check that out as well. Yeah, check out all of our videos on there.
And join us
You can listen to
live
our
on
podcast
Christmas.
as well on there. Yeah, join us live on Christmas. We'll be setting that up so you can remind yourself.
Share the experience with your nanny, your greenie.
I'm guessing we'll probably go live around 4 o'clock is what I'd
4 p.m.
like to plan
Central
for.
Standard Time.
So we'll throw out some feelers out there, but we'll plan for around 4.
Yeah.
Kind of in that
be
afternoon lull, so when you got a little downtime before you want to do your dinners and all that shit, you can watch us be assholes.
Yeah, basically.
And if you want to watch Nick's mom's asshole, it's onlyfans.com/gaping holes of Nick's mom. I just made that up, but that could be a real OnlyFans, so, you know, just check the URL. Let me know if it's real or not.
Gaping Holes probably is.
Oh, probably, I'm sure. Oh, we forgot the fucking Shart Tank. We can't forget this.
Welcome
Tank.
Oh, dang.
You're gonna have to do some editing.
Well, we came to a grinding halt. You were on your phone and no one was talking, so I was like, well, guess we're doing the outro.
Well, you can edit however you want, or
So
we can just
Shart
go right
Tank.
now. Shart Tank. So earlier on in the episode, I teased the Shart Tank of Wookie Goldberg. Somebody was saying something about Sister Act.
We were trying to think of a top 5, and you said Whoopi Goldberg films.
Yeah,
you said Wookie Goldberg.
I said Wookie Goldberg, and it took me several tries, and I kept saying Wookie, not Whoopi, and I was getting mad. And Alex said, "Oh, that's a Shart Tank idea." So,
yeah,
Wookie Goldberg. So the Solo movie that we saw in theaters was less than ideal. So how do you make a movie that's even better and more ridiculous than that?
You cast Whoopi Goldberg as Han Solo.
No, you cast Wookie Soul, Wookie Soul. I can't even talk. Wookie Goldberg as a Wookie. She's Chewbacca.
No, it would be her and Chewbacca, I feel like.
Oh.
Oh, but she's
That's
Wookie
so
Goldberg.
much. Doesn't matter.
Well, can she
this
be
doesn't have to make logical sense. It's a fucking Shart Tank.
Can't she be a Wookiee with Chewbacca?
It's a Wookiee with the hair braided and sunglasses.
Wookie Goldberg. I mean, you're not going to come up with something genius like this too often in life. We may as well really fuck this up.
I thought I was.
Well,
I don't know. Just her dressed up as Chewbacca?
It's already...
Yeah, there you go.
It's already on Google.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I just misspoke, and I was like...
You can put that on the cover.
Jesus Christ. I feel like that is borderline... That could be taken the wrong way.
Yes, I realized the...
What can?
The racist implications of making a black female look like... She's possibly an 8 person. Yes, I realized
that. Looks like...
Oh, I wasn't thinking that.
Yes, that's what that looks like, though, and that's why I'm not going to fucking Photoshop
it's...
that. Yes.
You know how you see something really dumb like that and you think, how do they not realize this? It's because there's someone like Nick who didn't realize it, and we both were immediately like, no!
I don't see color.
Said the racist.
Yeah, that's just something that fucking...
I know, that's why I said it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Well, I didn't know, because there's some shit we've had to explain to you before,
Well,
Nick.
I don't think of Wookiees as apes, so I didn't think of that.
That doesn't mean that some fucking ignorant-ass backwoods, somebody that's probably like your second cousin or some shit doesn't know, or your fucking stepsister or some shit.
Your sister wife.
Yeah, your sister wife and your cousin.
Put Whoopi Goldberg's head on Han Solo's body.
Okay, that's more feasible.
I just think you cast her as Han Solo, and then you rewrite the movie.
It's probably a better movie. I already like that better anyway.
She is her character from Ghost, also.
Yes.
Patrick Swayze is a Force ghost.
Luke, you and
God,
Danger
this
Girl.
is genius.
Yes, he's a Force ghost. What else is she in that I can make fun of? See, I don't even know very many movies that she's in.
Jumping Jack Flash?
You said that with a question like I've seen it, but no, I haven't.
No.
Is there anything entertaining in that movie? Okay, no.
I remember she's like a computer.
She can dress as a nun and fuck Chewbacca, like ride that fucking furry cock while she's dressed as a nun.
Hey, I mean, it's Star Wars. They do go in disguises a lot, so that works.
Exactly. Her and Chewbacca dressed as nuns infiltrating a fucking church. That's basically the Death Star.
Jesus Christ. This sounds like the porn parody of all ages, of all genres mixed together.
What else do we got?
Who we casting Nick's mom as?
She's just the fluffer on set for Chewbacca and me.
Someone made a Ghostbusters Mandalorian helmet. It's got caution striping there.
Oh.
Of course it does.
And it's got the cyclotron or the power cell right there and the cyclotron.
I'm going to quote Ian Malcolm here. When I see some mashups, like I love some good mashups. Don't get me wrong, right? Just don't get me wrong, but you can't make Ghostbusters everything in your fucking life.
What does he say?
He says, you were so preoccupied with whether or not you should, you didn't stop to think if you could, you didn't stop to think if you should. And I fucking
That's not even the line I was going to think of.
Hey, I have that clock.
I was thinking he says, what you call innovation, I call the rape of the natural world.
That too. Yes. Yes. So much that.
Well, we can have this guy on and tell him.
Or we could not.
That guy.
He looks happy. But he also has a chin beard, so you can't trust him.
Oh, God, yeah. Chin beard, it's all just down in the neck fat.
creative. I mean the opposite of that. Dead air. Everybody's looking at their phone but me.
So is there more to Shark Tales than this, or
Shark Tales?
Wasn't that a movie?
We're gonna
Shart Tales. Baby Shark. There's so many things. Shark. That should be the theme song for the Shart Tank.
Baby shark poop 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 poop.
Baby shark poop 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 poop. Baby shark poop poop poop
poop. Shit in your mouth.
See. Shark Tale.
Is Whoopi Goldberg in that?
Maybe. Will Smith's in it. Robert De Niro.
Wasn't that like DreamWorks' attempt at being
2004.
Pixar? Like
I mean, one of them.
Yeah,
one of their attempts.
There's several of
Martin
those out there.
Scorsese does a voice.
Oh, compel me now. All right, well, that's that. We'll see you guys on Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy winter solstice.
Please hit up our YouTube. Subscribe to that. Hit up our Facebook if you haven't. Like that. Go to our Instagram.
Tell your friends.
Like that. Expose your friends.
Show Nana on Christmas.
Yeah, like during Christmas dinner, just put on the live stream of us while everybody's there, the kids, grandma, everybody.
Presents.
Exactly, and if you're really nice, Alec will share a free video on his OnlyFans of him sounding.
Yes, I'm gonna sound, and it's gonna be very hard to do, but I am gonna perform Jingle Bells with a sounding rod in my penis.
That's fun for the whole family.
And did you just fart? Who ripped ass?
Wasn't me.
Is it the sound of this?
I don't know. It was a ghost fart then.
Ooh.
All right. I don't think I have anything else to say. So, watch out.
These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers.
Shut this off. Shut these all off.